Welcome back. Now for your 5-day weather forecast, we go outside to Kelly Kazakia.
There'll be no snow today, but there might be some throughout the next couple of days. Here's your 5-day weather forecast. We kick off the weekend with clouds all day, but we might see some scattered showers later tonight, with a high of 7 and a low of 1. Tomorrow we'll have some snow again with a high of 2 and a low of -7. On Sunday, the snow will come out, but it'll still be cold with a high of -8 and a low of -12. Monday we'll have a high of -5 and a low of -11 with clouds all through the day. And Tuesday we'll see a mix of clouds and sun with a high of -1 and a low of -7. Well, it's officially spring next week, but we'll have to see if the temperature changes. That's it for your 5-day weather forecast. Now back to the studio.
Thanks for that, Kelly. Turning now to international and national news. An outbreak of measles is spreading across British Columbia's Fraser Valley. Just days ago, health authorities confirmed 2 cases of the virus and at least 100 more suspected cases in the East Fraser Valley. Now 6 BC communities could be affected by the highly contagious virus, including Abbotsford and Chilliwack. Special vaccination clinics are being set up and arrangements made to distribute measles vaccines.
Members of Lev Tahor who fled to Guatemala are seeking refugee status there. 6 minors and their parents arrived in the country earlier this month, fleeing apprehension by Ontario's Child Services. Members of the ultra-Orthodox Jewish sect have contacted an immigration lawyer to help them with their claim. The controversial group has been living in Chatham, Ontario after leaving Quebec in November to evade child protection services there. An Ontario judge issued an order for the apprehension of 14 of the sect's children last week.
The Canadian military exit from Afghanistan is being celebrated by extremist forces. The Taliban issued a statement Thursday in Kandahar congratulating their fighters on defeating Canada. They say the Canadians followed Holland, Denmark, Australia, Poland, and Spain in retreat and failure. The last of Canada's contingent formally ended their 12-year military involvement in the country Wednesday.
U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry is meeting with the Russian foreign minister in London today to discuss the crisis in Crimea. The meeting comes just days before a referendum in the state to decide whether it will secede from Ukraine and join Russia. Kerry is hoping to negotiate an end to the crisis before the vote. Both the U.S. and the European Union say that if the referendum goes forward, Moscow will face the prospect of fresh sanctions.
The investigation into the disappearance of Malaysian Airlines flight MH370 is now focusing on suspicion of foul play. Malaysian officials told Reuters that an unidentified aircraft appeared to be following a commonly used navigational route when it was last spotted north of Malaysia on Saturday. The new evidence suggests MH370 diverted hundreds of kilometers off course. The airliner has been missing for almost a week, and the search area is expanding to the west of Malaysia.
And now with your sports news, Hugh Smith joins us here in studio. Hugh, I understand we have more to celebrate today in Sochi.
That's right, Darren. Canada actually has another medal in Sochi today. Paralympic downhill skier Josh Dueck has won gold in the men's super combined. After sitting in 5th in the slalom, Dueck won with a blistering super G run. Dueck finished with a combined time of 2 minutes and 18.2 seconds, 1 full second faster than second place Heath Calhoun of the States. The medal is Dueck's second of the games after winning silver in men's sitting downhill on Saturday. Looking now at the medal standings, Russia remains in first with 21 golds, Germany is in second with 6, Ukraine in third with 4, and Canada holds steady in fourth with 3 gold medals. In the NHL, the Leafs got off to a rocky start last night in LA. Early in the first, Marian Gaborik scored his first goal with the Kings. LA is up 1-0. Ansei Kopitar made it 2, but Dion Phaneuf gave the visitors something to cheer about with 2 minutes left in the first, 2-1 LA. That was the end of Jonathan Bernier's night. He was forced out of the game with a lower body injury. Early in the second, Carl Gunnarsson pots his second of the season, tie game. Third period, with the Kings on the power play, James Van Riemsdyk feeds Mason Raymond, and he fires it home, and the Leafs win a big one, 3-2 the final. The Leafs next face the Washington Capitals on Sunday. Lots of action in the NHL tonight with 4 Canadian teams on the ice. The Vancouver Canucks will be in Washington to take on the Capitals. The Edmonton Oilers will visit the Motor City to face the Red Wings. The Winnipeg Jets will welcome the New York Rangers to town, and the Calgary Flames will be in Texas to play the Dallas Stars. Now for a little Grapefruit League action, the Toronto Blue Jays dropped another game against the Houston Astros. In his first big league game, 19-year-old shortstop Carlos Correa homered twice for the Astros, and they went on to win 7-5. Anthony Gose hit a triple and a double, scoring 3 runs for Toronto in the loss. And next up, the Jays take on the Boston Red Sox today. In the NBA tonight, the Toronto Raptors are at home to take on the Memphis Grizzlies. Both teams will be looking to ride the momentum of recent wins. Toronto pulled off a big victory against the Detroit Pistons on Wednesday. Memphis pulled off a 2-point win against the New Orleans Pelicans. Tip-off is at 7. And in other sports news, Toronto FC will kick off their MLS season on Saturday when they take on the Seattle Sounders. TFC had a big offseason, acquiring former Premier League striker Jermaine Defoe and American international star Michael Bradley. The game starts at 4:30 tomorrow. And that's it for your sports news. Jake?
Thanks, Hugh. Let's hope the new talent can help turn this team around.
Definitely.
And finally, tourists visiting the historic sanctuary of Machu Picchu took in an unexpected sight yesterday. Two 20-year-old Canadians were briefly detained for bearing all at the Peruvian site. Two Australians were taken into custody for a separate incident earlier that morning. Peruvian media has identified the two Canadians as Mark Anthony Dodlin and Patrice Matien. Officials describe these as two indecent acts committed in a sacred place. At this point, it doesn't look as though the full moons will be a permanent addition to the World Heritage Site.
Well, let's hope none of that transpires this weekend for St. Patrick's Day.
I hope not.
And that's it for Humber News for today. Thanks for joining us. I'm Darren O'Malley.
And I'm Jake Cordepat. Humber News is written and produced by journalism students at the North Campus. You can also catch us online on YouTube. We'll see you next time.